Joining us now is one of over 1,000 artists that you will see at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair, July 21st through 23rd in downtown Ann Arbor. Armando Pedroso joins us now on the Michigan Megacast. Armando, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Pretty excited. Never did this before.
Yeah, appreciate having you on. So first off, give us a little bit of insight on your work on the art that you produce and how you got into this as a career.
Well, it happened actually, believe it or not, after 9/11. So I've been doing it 20 years full time, but I had a corporate job for 20 some years, and then 9/11 happened and they laid me off because they actually restructured a lot of companies are restructuring. And so they let me off. And then I kept hearing a voice. And so I said, okay, God, if this is you, then I need to start painting, because the voice was paint, paint, paint. And I'd never painted before. So it was kind of crazy. So I said, okay, God, if this is you, I need to sell a painting in 7 weeks. And I ended up selling 5. So it was like, that was all the affirmation I needed. And that was 20 years ago. So,
wow,
so it's kind of fun.
That's a hell of a way to start a career
I know, right?
in art. That's we talked to a lot of these artists that are going to be at the Ann Arbor Art Fair. We're trying to talk to all of them, but there's 1,000 of them, so that's probably not going to happen. But this is probably the most interesting beginning to a story I've heard of anyone's art journey. You also worked a corporate job in Chicago, and so being a full-time artist and working that job, how did that help to really inspire your passion for the art as you realized that this could be a full-time career for you?
Well, I mean, I won Best Art Student in 5th grade, and then nothing till I was 42. And it was just like I had picked up again, and I just started painting, and I loved it. I mean, the first paintings I was doing was caricatures of homes. And then I actually took those and I hand delivered them to real estate offices and asked them if they would buy them as a closing gift. And within a month, I was in the Chicago Tribune, and it was crazy. Business started taking off.
So we talked to a number of painters, Armando, and everyone has a different style. Some have a really different form. We've talked to people that do traditional painting, to those that have worked with spray paint. What kind of painting do you do? Is it a variety, or do you have a specific form?
I have total variety, because since I don't know what I can't paint, since I'm self-taught, I do everything. I do everything from mixed media paintings, which all mixed media is you're using more than just paint. So I'll use roofing tar and plasters, and I'll use different metals and found objects, everything. And then to chalk paints, to spray paints. So it's just, I'm doing sculpture, playing with some wood, so woodworking. So it's a blast. I just like challenging myself and seeing what else I can do.
And I think that some of the work's behind you, and for those that are listening on the radio version, you can, of course, see this interview on demand on our website sometime this afternoon on civiccentertv.com/megacast. And there's such a great variety there as well of composition, from landscape pictures to to characters to faces. And so as you are creating these pieces, where do you start in your process? Because you have such variety in the media that you use, you have such variety in the kinds of paintings that you create. So where does that process start creatively for you before it goes into fruition as a full-fledged painting?
The caricatures that you're seeing behind me, the Jester is the poster that was picked by Ann Arbor to be the poster. It was created during COVID because everything was so dark and lonely and you couldn't see your friends. And I wanted to start painting something with a lot of colors. And so the Jester here represents, the shoulders raised. It's like, now what do we do? And so again, I decided I wanted to start painting something different that I'd never painted before. And then if you look close, there's a little card, and it's the King of Hearts. And it's all about following your heart and listening to, just like I did with 9/11, where it basically, tragedy hit, and like, okay, how am I going to be inspired to do something else with my life? And so the same thing with COVID, I tried a whole new body of work that's been incredibly successful.
So for you now, you are a traveling artist too. You go to art shows, you go to art festivals, such as the Ann Arbor Art Fair, July 21st through 23rd. What about that lifestyle and going to these different festivals, meeting so many different art lovers and different artists across the country and across the region. How does that inspire you going forward to continue to create your art and come up with new ideas for paintings?
Well, there's so many great aspects to it. I mean, first of all, you get to travel, so you're not totally in the studio alone all the time. I've met lifetime customers now because they'll buy one and then they'll watch the different styles come up, so they buy others. You're constantly meeting new artists with new styles, and it's fun to be inspired by them. And then again, the travel aspect, it's a blast. So except at a show when it rains, then it's not as fun, but
yeah, rain and paint aren't very good friends.
No.
We're joined.
But also the fun thing, Tyler, too, is you're your own boss. So I get to pick my own shows and travel where I want to travel. And I didn't realize at corporate, I didn't like the 9 to 5 being told what to do kind of a thing. I'm a kind of a free spirit artist.
We're joined by Armando Pedroso. He is the featured artist of the Summer Art Fair, which is part of the Ann Arbor Art Fair. More information on theannarborartfair.com. You can also find Armando's art on his website, armandopedrosa.com. That's armandopedrosa.com for more information on his art and to inquire about acquiring some of his art pieces. If you're unable to attend this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair, which hopefully you are able to attend, and you got plenty of time to move your schedule around. July 21st through 23rd in downtown Ann Arbor, 30 blocks of the city, over 1,000 artists, including their Summer Art Fair featured artist, Armando Pedroso, who's with us on the Michigan Megacast. And so on that, you're this year's Summer Art Fair featured artist. For you, Armando, as someone who lives in Michigan and someone who has been to this Ann Arbor Art Fair before, what does that mean to you to be the featured artist of this art fair within the Ann Arbor Art Fair?
It's an honor because again, like you were just saying, there's 1,000 artists there. So for them to choose me I was just taken aback. So very, very excited and thrilled and honored. So.
We're joined by Armando Pedroso. He is a painter and this year's, of course, as we said, Summer Art Fair featured artist at the Ann Arbor Art Fair. More information on the Ann Arbor Art Fair, all of its auxiliary art fairs within the art fair, and other entertainment July 21st through 23rd by visiting their website at theannarborartfair.com. That's theannarborartfair.com. And just diving more into this specific art fair and these specific shows, Armando, what about Ann Arbor and its art fair and its customer base there and just the community of art lovers in Michigan keeps you coming back to the Ann Arbor Art Fair?
Well, Tyler, just like you said, it is a community of art lovers. There's a lot of shows that they do around the country, and a lot of people, they may not totally understand art, but they seem to understand it at Ann Arbor, and they seem to come back and they follow you. And it's well run. I work, my section is the Guild. And I mean, they're incredible in the quality of the artists that they get there. And it's also a huge inspiration for me to be around such great artists. It pushes me to be like a better artist.
And so let's dive in more into those relationships. How important for artists like you and for other artists, whether they're painters or they create another form of art, how important are those relationships that you do develop at these art shows? Not just the ones that you're coming back to, but just as an artist and refining and changing and tinkering with your creative process to maybe try something different and maybe create some different form of art within your own art that is extraordinary.
Well, art is a soul purchase to begin with. So, because I create from my soul, and some people want to get caught up in, a certain name of what the art is. Is it abstract? Is it this or ever? To me, it's real simple. Does it move your soul? How do you feel? And even if people don't, care for my work, if I can invoke some sort of an emotion, then I did my job. But I always sign the back of my paintings from my soul to yours. Because again, we're connecting at not an intelligent level, but at a heart level, which is really, if you're going to be a successful artist, you need that, and you also need to have a story behind your paintings. Like you asked earlier, it's like what was I thinking when I was creating this painting? How did it start? And people want to know that story.
So many people can sell their art on the web or can put their art in get their art into a gallery and sell it through
Sure.
that mode. The art show method is really different because it's so tangible. You're interacting with the people that you're ultimately selling this art to. For you, how does that add to the magic and the satisfaction that you feel in creating this art, to then see where your piece is, where all of that labor that you put in, all that love you put into this piece is ultimately going, and seeing that reaction from these people as they fall in love with the art that you've created?
I mean, it's that human nature. It's the, like they'll give you a hug after, they buy a painting, or they'll get tears in their eyes once you tell them the story. And, it's like what it means to them. And that is, you can't put a price on that. I had a little boy last week at an art show. He's maybe 5 years old, and he loved the art so much in my booth that he went home and he created a painting for me, and he made his father come back the next day. I cried. And so I gave him one of my paintings just to inspire him to, to follow his art and passion. And I'm a businessman, so I love when I get sales on the internet and through my galleries. But again, Tyler, there's nothing like interacting with people.
You can see Armando Pedroso and all of his art at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair, July 21st through 23rd. More information is theann.arborartfair.com. Thursday, July 21st, and Friday, July 22nd. The hours 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. and Saturday, one of those days, 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. Again, more information on theann.arborartfair.com. You can also learn more about Armando and all of his work by visiting armandopedrosa.com as well. Armando, just a few more minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. I want to give you a chance to preview. We saw some of the pieces behind you, but I want to give you a chance to speak more on those pieces and others that you plan to showcase at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair, in case people are interested in stopping by your booth.
Well, I moved to Michigan in 2018. I had just turned 60 and I think I had enough on Chicago. I decided to leave it to a younger generation. So anyway, I bought a blueberry farm up here. And so my new series of paintings has become these beautiful, realistic barn series that they're now, there's kind of a wait list on getting them. So those will be featured at the Ann Arbor show. Again, the caricature kind of people that I did during the COVID series, those will be shown, and I will have just a couple abstracts. So there'll be a little bit for everybody, and I hope you come.
Yeah, and Armando, just want to ask you about this piece behind you, right over your right shoulder there, because it caught my eye because I have some family that is in the Air Force, and so I see what looks like the red shirt kind of looks like the stripes on the American flag. The bluebird sort of looks like, of course, the blue section behind the stars on the flag, and then you have the airplane behind us. Tell us more about this painting. What inspired you in this, and what meaning you are hoping to get out of a painting like that?
The painting's called Birds of a Feather, and just to show the different passions that people have in different groups, whether it's running or biking or whatever. And I just thought it was a really fun image to try to create.
Yeah, a lot of great detail in there, and it's really a unique and interesting painting, as all those that we see behind you. And of course, you can see all those paintings either on this interview right behind Armando at civiccentertv.com/megacast, on his website at armandopedrosa.com, or by visiting him at the Ann Arbor Art Fair, July 21st through 23rd in Ann Arbor. 30 blocks of the city, over 1,000 artists, including Armando Pedroso, who's with us on the Michigan Megacast. Armando, before we let you go, anything else that you'd like to talk about today, or anything else we haven't touched on about your art or this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair?
Just I hope everybody comes, because and bring your kids. It's a great way to expose, children to art. And the fun thing about the Ann Arbor Art Festival is there's every kind of media that you want. There's everything from the children's art. There's, again, abstract. There's painting for the children. There's watercolor. There's sculpting. There's jewelry. I mean, you name it, whatever kind of art you're into, it'll be there.
Armando, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Tom.